Intellectual stew. Intellectual stew with James Kirkland.
Powerful and provocative, prophetic and practical,
Intellectual stew.
informative and inspirational. How you gonna do better if you don't know what better looks like? I do.
Intellectual stew.
Come on, let's talk about it with me, the mind massager.
Intellectual. Intellectual stew. Intellectual stew with James Kirkland. Intellectual stew.
Hey, what's up? What it do? Time for another episode of the Intellectual Stew with yours truly, James Kirkland. And I am not alone today, but I do have a friend with me, and we are doing a special episode of What Were You Thinking with James and Avery. Let me bring Avery on in right now. Avery, what's going on with
What's
you, my
up,
guy?
man? How you doing, sir?
Man, I am doing well, man. I appreciate you
Yes,
for
sir.
coming on and consenting to do another episode of
Yes,
What Were You
sir.
Thinking? Typically, for the audience, those that are listening, and if you are listening, do me a favor, go ahead and share this thread right quick, and let's go ahead and get this conversation started. But the way this show started was when Avery and I, he would put out some real good posts, some good thought-provoking posts, and then we'll find ourselves having conversations offline about some of those posts, wondering what we were thinking or what he was thinking when I would put a post out. And if he put a post out, or if I put a post out, we'll reach out to one another. We're like, man, what were you thinking when you put that out? And so that's kind of where these thoughts kind of derive from. Am I wrong, Avery?
You're right on point. But you know, you were doing more meddling than I was. So.
How was
Nah,
I doing?
you know.
No, you say something. Listen, I know the Bible.
Nah,
Out of the mouth comes the abundance of the heart. If
man,
you
don't
say
play.
it, you picking on me. Bro.
Thought provoking, man. Very,
yeah.
very.
Well, we try to make you think, man.
Right,
And, I was talking with my brand consultant, man, the guy who's kind of helping me with my brand. And one question they always ask whenever you start doing something related to branding, they're like, "Who do you help?" Or who are you called to? Who is your audience? And I said, when I thought about that, because I'm kind of trying to change the way I think as well. My thought process became, I want to kind of help change the way we think as we go as we get deeper into this realm or this society that we live in. You know what I'm saying? Because
right.
a lot of us operate with straight stinking thinking, man. You know what I'm saying? And we jump on the first thought, and then we think. And I don't profess to be the best thinker, the smartest guy, anything of the sort. That's not my name. I don't even want to be that guy. But I know critical thinking requires thinking, you know what I'm saying? And not just reacting initially. You ask certain questions, and people will jump right on that question without any thought, and I think that's something I'm trying to help people do, and then another thing I want us to realize is it's a lot of bickering and fighting and those things going on amongst us, and at the end of the day, Avery, most times we're fighting or we're arguing over something that's an opinion, bro.
Right, man. Oh, man, you could just stop right there. Because one of the things, and as you were saying about, just trying to get people to think, one of the things that I'm even trying to do in this stage of my life is to try and make sure that when I'm challenged with a subject or a thought that I have not been, introduced to, let me say it like that, that I want to stop and not just go with what I've always thought.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If let me see if I can break it. If something is introduced to me, or well, not even introduced, but if I'm presented with something, what I'm trying to do now is to not just look at it from my cognitive dissonant perspective. You know what I'm
I
saying?
see.
So I'm
Yes, sir.
trying to expand my thinking, and even look at the different paradigms and the different aspects of it. And to your point of what you just said, a lot of times, like you said, we're arguing over things that at the end of the day, like you said, is really your opinion. There's no right, there's no wrong. But if we
Mm.
would stop for a minute and consider the other perspective, we'll see that they were just as right as we were.
Just as
But
right.
just as right, or sometimes were ex- were more right than we were. But because we just didn't want to look at it from another perspective and hold to our train of thought and not veer from it, we miss out on a lot of opportunities for growth, because that's how growth occurs, from thinking outside the box.
Yeah, that's good stuff right there, man. Yeah, man, you know what you said? You said we miss our opportunity for growth. Man, have you ever thought about the fact that that diamonds are produced through pressure?
Right,
You
right,
know what I'm saying? You have to really create a whole lot of friction. You know what I'm saying? You know, some of the best friendships happen after a fight.
right. Oh yeah,
You know what I'm saying? When
oh
you
yeah,
grew up, you had some friends you could fight. When you could literally have a fight with somebody in a minute, and then next thing you know, y'all are best friend. Why? Because
yeah,
more than anything,
yeah.
you got that respect. You know what
Right,
I'm saying? You know that
right,
joker will
right,
fight back
right.
or anything, man. But a lot of times, as soon as we have a fight now, we'll hold a grudge, and I'm probably guilty of that. I ain't gonna lie, especially trying to navigate this whole dating scene, Avery. This
Yeah,
thing here, boy, you better
man,
be glad you stayed where you are for
brother,
them 30
brother.
whatever years you got, bro. Because this like getting out of prison after 20 years and seeing a whole new society. They got cell phones now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm the type now, bro, that if I don't, I mean, I I'll cut you off quick.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like for instance,
yeah.
raising your voice at me. I'm a
Right,
grown man. I'm
right,
51 years old.
right,
I was
right,
born July the 6th, 1972. I
right,
will not raise my voice at you. And
right,
please, ma'am, don't raise your voice at me. And
right,
if you raise your voice at me, at that point, I start to assume that you're not peaceful.
right, right.
And if you're
Ooh,
not peaceful,
ooh,
I'm at a stage in my life where I don't have time to be wondering if I can control your
right,
passion. You feel
right,
what I'm
right,
saying?
right. I feel
Because
what you're saying.
if this made you that angry
Right,
where you felt like you needed to talk to me like a child,
right.
then what would happen when we have a real issue? You feel what I'm
Exactly,
saying?
exactly. But
So
but to,
so
but
go ahead.
let me just interject. But to your point, and we're talking about learning, and we're dealing with evolvement and all that stuff. So let's just take that scenario. Just say, for instance, if me and you are in a conversation and you don't, I'm using it from this perspective of we don't really know each other yet, and
Right.
I do that, and I do raise my voice at you. Now, I believe for you to teach me about you, that's the time that you let me know, hey, I don't I don't know, what your background is, and I don't know where you come from and all that. But as long as you are in my space, I would appreciate if you not raise your voice at me, because I think a lot of times, if we just cut that person off, we may not understand why they raise their voice all the time. And you
Yeah.
may be the person, James. You may
Yeah.
be the one to
Yeah.
say that they open up to and say, well, this is what happened, and
Yeah.
then you're able to help them navigate. And
Yeah.
they may yell at, scream, or raise their voice at me, but guess what? They know they're around you and you don't accept it.
Yeah.
So at least they're going to modify their behavior
I'm
because
cutting
you
you
have
off.
brought it. Yeah,
I'm cutting you off.
don't cut me
Yeah.
off, man.
No, I
Don't cut
cut
me
you
off.
off. I'm cutting you off because
Don't cut
I
me
can do that
off.
because that's my friend. I'm joking. I'm joking. But listen, now you got a point. They may be the one. Key and operative word may. Let's be
Hmm.
exegetical in this
Okay.
conversation. They
Okay.
may be the one, but they probably aren't.
Right.
You
Yeah.
feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I have to be invested in you enough to decide if I want to teach you.
Right.
You feel what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
Because see, a lot of times, like, the grasshopper is more dangerous when the seed is about to come out the chaff.
True.
Not
Yeah.
when the chaff has when the seed has broken the chaff,
Right.
and but
Right.
when the surface breaks and potential is in. Oh, this is good. When the potential is in the seed, right?
Right.
It's not out yet, but as soon as it cracks open, that's when it's really vulnerable.
Right.
Right. But that's when the grasshopper pounces
Mhm.
and kills the potential that was inside of the seed. So same thing, what I'm saying, if they come unpeaceful
True.
and the potential that
Yeah.
was there because it's in its infancy stage,
Right.
I might not be at a point
Right.
where I'm ready. Now, if we've endured, we've been kicking it for a minute, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
and we cried
Right.
together a little bit, you know what I'm saying. I'm being funny when I say
Yeah.
cried, but
Yeah.
but we've endured a little bit together, and I'm invested. Then
Right.
yeah, I can endure a little bit more. You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Oh, I
But
feel
you got people screaming at the onset, man, and it
Right.
makes me wonder. And let's think for a minute.
Right.
Let's think for a minute. And sisters, if you're listening, this is not a bash a sister chat session.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
it's
Most definitely.
not. I have daughters, and that's why this conversation is about to go the way that it's about to go now, because I'm concerned about my daughters, because I know they got to marry your sons, and some of your sons are unstable, and some of these women and daughters are unstable, and I'm concerned about it. So this is my thing here. I reference the Willie Lynch letter a lot, and I talk about how they talked about breaking a slave,
Right.
and the way they said they would break a slave is through the black woman, because she raises the children, and she said that she would revert she said that they would be most effective when they reverse the nature of black males and black females. In other words, you raise your daughters to be psychologically independent. You're right. You raise them to be bosses, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Because the roles have reversed now. But you raise your sons to be physically strong, but mentally weak, right? Because you don't want him to be so headstrong that he gets out here and gets killed by Jim Crow, or or by the police, or anything of the sort, right? So we reverse the nature of these children, right? So you have a lot of stronger, aggressive women who are operating as bosses. And I wonder if it makes them more aggressive. I'm perhapsing, I'm assuming, I'm asking. I'm not saying that this is the case, because watch this, Avery. This is I've shown this video before, but I want to show it again. But this video concerns me. Watch this.
Back up. I don't want to get mad.
No. Go. Give me top.
Wow. Yeah. She was tell me what you saw. I don't want to make it all, because I don't, like I said, sisters, and please share this thread. Share this thread. And let's get some more people in this conversation. And y'all feel free, if a young lady, if you want to come on and share anything, feel free. I mean, I'm all for it. Come on in. But go ahead, Avery.
Well, okay. So what I didn't see what actually made her click. So I have no idea what made her click. But what I did see a young man who was trying his best not to react from a perspective that it seems like his parents, whether he's come from a two-parent home or single parent home, has instructed him not to put his hands on a woman.
Okay.
But I did see that even when he's trying to get her to stop, that she's so forwardly progressive in her anger that she loses all consciousness of sound decision making and continues to swing and hit until she's awakened by his reaction.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And that troubles me, because she kept swinging, she kept going at him. He's walking away, and he even said, I don't want to get mad.
Right.
I don't want to get mad. In other words, stop.
Right. Yeah.
Please leave me alone, because if I get mad, this can go the wrong way.
Right.
And he's letting her know that. And yet she keeps swinging. And then finally, when she connects and she smacks his face, she hits him hard in the face.
Right.
I mean, she heard him. She probably made that skin. She probably made that skin shrivel up a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, she popped him.
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, I think he blacked out
Yeah.
for half a second because
Yep.
those feet turned upside down.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we had a real reality check.
Right.
And that could have went another way. And even at the end, watch this again. Even at the end, when he walks in, he's about to go in for the kill.
Right.
And something stops him. Watch it.
Back up. I don't want to get mad. I don't want to get mad.
No. Go.
Hey, he was about to go in for the kill. I mean, because he pushed her, and then he put that fist up like that, and then he was measuring her up. Because
and self-control came in.
Avery, you hear me? And ladies, y'all tell me what y'all saw in the chat. I mean, y'all, because this is the question. I asked this question last time I had a show. I asked, and I was specific. I asked this question for a reason when I asked this question on my platform. I said, do you teach your daughters not to hit boys because boys become men? You know, and men, you don't know what their background is. You don't know what their mothers taught them. I had one young lady said, Quinny, I forgot her name. Quinny, what's her name? But anyway, she said, I teach my sons not to hit girls, but I don't know what the next woman teaches her son.
Right.
And so the reason I ask if you teach your sons or your daughters not to hit sons is because typically in an average situation, a male is stronger than a female. In an average situation, there are some females I know that can beat up men. I do know that. But in an average situation, the male is stronger, right? So my concern, Avery, is are we able to de-escalate when things escalate?
Here's what I see, you know, and again, it's opinion based off of, you know, the social media and the things that I do see. I do see where, as this young man showed, that it seems as though we as men, we do have the capacity to reel ourselves in, for the most part, in these heated moments. But the problem again becomes when there is a continued forward progression of aggravation and assault, you know, from a woman, and you do your best not to react. But there's a moment, brother. There's a moment like that young man. It was the slap on the face that he knew everybody in the class saw, that for a moment brought a sense of embarrassment. And now I have to avenge my embarrassment. And that's what he did. But again, he comes to himself because he realizes that he could have done much more damage. So I do think we have the ability to do that, but it has to be taught. As you say, we got to teach them, you know, keep your hands to yourself, period.
Yeah, who is that? Listen, if you're listening, that's the main thing. Nobody needs to be putting their hands on anybody, especially in a grown-up relationship. That's why I said boys become men and men. I mean, so we're gonna hold the young lady responsible because she what she did was wrong. But we also gonna tell men that are watching this, if you putting your hands on somebody else's daughter, man, you need to keep your hand to yourself, bro. And you need to figure out another way to handle your anger. You need to take a break, get in the car and drive. I have a good friend of mine. He and I had a conversation yesterday, and in that conversation, he said he was talking about how reckless his wife would talk to him, and he said his 4-year-old son came up to him one day and he saw his mom talking so reckless to him and said, "Come on, Daddy, let's ride. Come on, Daddy, let's get in the car and drive," because he was trying to get separation between him and his mama at that moment. I mean, and this is a 4-year-old child stepping in, you know, and it's because the woman is so reckless with her mouth that she's cussing him out and talking crazy to him in front of their child.
Right.
The child is calming the daddy down and going in the other room and saying, "Mommy, stop talking to daddy like that." 4 years old, bro.
Wow.
So think this is shaping his reality.
Right. Yeah.
If he sees this for 13 or 14 years, mama hollering at daddy all the time, you feel me?
Right.
How does that work?
Right. And then sometimes the reaction of a male, what he's doing now, you know what he's doing, Jay? He's hitting mama. He's taking of course he's been hit by somebody, but all of that frustration and anger is now coming back up. He's taking it out on what he wish he could have done as a child.
Bruh.
Because I'm listen,
bro,
because I'm
I'm
like you too.
listening.
Bruh, I know I have friends who, when I went over their house growing up, 4th, 5th, 6th grade, same thing. Mama just slapping them all upside the head, popping them in their mouth. Shut up, you son, all this stuff, just popping them and popping them, and they wouldn't do nothing. But then when they had that moment where they were outside, or we were out on the playground, and somebody pushed them that butt, man, you talking about an explosion. And I knew even then they were taking it out on the parent. Bruh, so a lot of times, man, we're doing things to people that we have no idea what their triggers are. Bro. And when we touch them, man, sometimes you can't. Once that gas go out and that match is lit, you can't do anything about it but let it burn.
Right. And that's the point that I don't want it to get to. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the point that I don't want to see, because I know it's in there, right? I know it's in there, man. I know it's in there, and I don't want to see that happen. The last thing I would want to happen is my daughter to call me and tell me somebody's son and put their hand on on her.
Right.
Bro, do you realize, I mean, how medieval that whole situation would become? Bro, do you understand how medieval? If somebody put their hands on Mackenzie, Kennedy, bro, do you realize how that happened? So to save everybody involved, to save me a trip down the road, to save somebody a trip to wherever else they might end up, best thing to do is de-escalate before things escalate. Right. If you see that you can't, like I said, my methodology in cutting somebody for this, what's in there off of that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't have time to be trying to control somebody else's child, bro. Lakeisha Reynolds said the 4-year-old is wiser than the mother. Man. Absolutely. Yeah. In this instance, because sometimes I'm trying to get this this little layer put up right quick. Man, that's overlay put up. But bro, just think about that. Do you have sons or daughters?
I got all boys.
You got all boys?
All boys.
And so have you had conversations with them as it relates?
I haven't had to.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. And tell me why. And I think I know why, but tell me why.
Because they witnessed the love and compassion that I showed their mom, so they didn't have to. They knew. We've had to come say, hey, don't put your hands on a woman, but I didn't have to go into a detailed sit down and if a woman hits you, and we didn't have to do that, because they are mannerable and respectful, and they have enough self-control that I know they know how to walk away.
Yeah, I like that because, and you bring up something that's very, very brilliant. That makes a lot of sense to me. I was talking to somebody that works at a school, okay, and they talked about how one of the children came to school one day and was having a bad day, and somebody walked in there and had to calm him down, right? And when they calmed him down, the boy said that the mama told him that morning that she wishes he was dead.
Wow.
She was so reckless with her mouth,
right,
that she, in her anger,
right,
in her emotional state, sister,
right,
she told her son that she wishes that he was dead or he had died. Now, I got convicted in this parenting thing at one point, right? Mm-hmm. Because my thought was sometimes I would get a little reckless with my mouth, right? And I would have my chip rushing them in the morning, got them all upset before they leave home.
Right.
All these things are going
on. Been there, done that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Just come on, we gotta go. Yep. We gotta go.
Yeah.
Hurry up. And my baby, she's like, Trey just looking at me like I'm crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But these are things that we were doing, And then finally I realized, okay, with Trey, turn the light on 15 minutes earlier. He's not a morning person.
Right.
So let the light wake him up for 15 minutes. That saved a lot of grief. The baby, she was just going to be late. Best thing to do is just wait in the car. because she was going to be late regardless. There's no use in arguing with her. Wasn't no use in fussing with her. She was going to be late. So best thing to do is put her on the bed. And if she was late, just be prepared to take her to school, because I couldn't have her in class messed up with a messed up attitude, eyes red from crying.
Right.
And so what we do, because we talked about earlier some of our issues. One thing that, other than just arguing over opinions, Avery, what I've learned is a lot of us end up projecting our personal situations on everybody else.
Yeah.
And so you take the pressure of the world and put all that pressure on your child. Why?
Right. So then let me ask you this question then, just on the video that you saw.
Let me show it again while you're getting your thought, because some other people have come on. Okay. All right. I'm then, and keep your thought, because I know you're gonna make it better now. Watch
Back up. I don't want to get mad. I don't want to get mad.
No.
Oh yeah. So the question is, do you teach your daughters not to hit men? Go ahead, Avery.
Well, so with that, you were talking about the parenting aspect, and and some of the mistakes that we made, getting them up, going rushing, they're having a bad day and all that stuff. So with the video, how much how much do you think the parent played in her response? Or you know what I'm trying to say? The parenting skills, did that play a part in how she was dealing with that young man?
I don't mean, let's ask the audience that. Do y'all think the way do you think her parents played a part in how she is dealing with that young man? If you're asking me, Avery, I don't know if I don't know if I would say it's the parenting, but I would definitely say the familial structure, the home environment, you know what I'm saying, has created that. I don't know if she has a younger brother that she might beat up on, you know what I'm saying. I don't know if she's seen I can't say for sure she had a single mother, and that her single mother is, beating up on or talking about men and beating me. I don't know that for sure, but I do know that she's overly aggressive with a boy.
Right.
And I think somewhere in her heart of hearts, I think she thinks she can whoop him.
Oh yeah. You know what? Let me. I'm gonna go here, James. This might be another whole avenue. I don't think she knew she could probably whoop him, but I don't think she expected any consequences.
Okay, that's even better.
You know what I'm saying? I think I think her women privilege.
Women privilege.
I think her woman privilege made her
women privilege. What is that?
Yeah, that means that there are some things that that women can do and don't think there are any consequences.
Oh Lord.
To certain behaviors, or there is a they get a pass on certain things.
That sound familiar, y'all, in Stu Nation? That sound about right? Is there such thing as women privilege? Y'all talk back to me tonight. Talk back to me. And if there's anybody else that wants to come on and share some thoughts as they relates to how this young lady handled this issue, I'm gonna try to put the chat. Let me see if I can put the link in the chat real quick. But yeah, if y'all have anything to say about that, come on and let's talk about it. Avery just put an interesting thought out there. He said that he thinks that she might have been operating in her women privilege. Women, do y'all get to a point that in an argument, and I got the question on the screen now, that you think it's more important to get your point across or to keep the peace? Why are you laughing at me, Avery? What was I thinking? Okay. Man. Is it? I mean, that's the question. Is it more important for you to get somebody, lady, on the chat? There's a thread. I just put the thread in the chat. If you want to come on for a minute and answer this question for me, I would love for you to come on and talk with Avery and myself. Is it more? Because I think I know how Avery would answer this question. Avery, is it more important to get your point across? Is it more important to keep the peace?
The latter. The latter. Oh, let's see, man. You see, here you go. You're gonna get us in trouble tonight.
What I do? I ain't do nothing.
But I'm just saying
I didn't do nothing.
Here it is. Here it is. For men, for the most part, the latter is what we focus on. And that's all I'm gonna say.
Man, we on a whole podcast. That's all you gonna say.
But you know what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, as men, we're gonna keep the peace,
especially with a woman.
Exactly,
because we know what can happen. We know, because see, men, if Avery and I get into an argument, we gotta settle it,
right?
And we can settle it several different ways. I mean, I can come to Arkansas and we can meet up and we can go on and get it handled, whatever. We can have an argument over the phone, get upset, all that. You know, we can settle it. But with a woman, I can't fight.
Right.
And when you keep raising your voice at me and you keep doing this, then at this point, how do I release that?
Right.
How do I get away from that? And my best way to do that is to get away from you.
Right.
And that don't mean
passing in a hurry.
That don't mean I want to break up.
Right.
I want a divorce. That don't mean that I can't handle conflict.
Right.
That the best thing to keep from creating more conflict. See, sometimes some women look at it as a sign of weakness because you're not standing there arguing with them or going back and forth. No, honey.
That's the sign of strength, brother.
Yeah. And that's the key. Lakeisha just said, so let me help Lakeisha. And you tell me what you think about this. Lakeisha said, definitely keep the peace, but it's hard when you have two strong-willed people talking. How do you respond to that after 30 plus years of marriage, Avery?
I'm gonna keep the peace. My will will always be weaker.
Yes. Thank you. Say that again. Say it again.
My will will be and has always been weaker.
I don't mind. I'll fall on that sword.
Yeah.
I'll fall on that sword. And that, you know, because Keisha, you said something very key and critical. You said you have two strong-willed people talking. At one point, somebody got to stop talking.
Right.
And I'm probably gonna be that one, especially if you feel like you're gonna keep going.
Yep.
And honestly, I ain't trying to be funny, but I'm at Charlie Brown time now because I'm all I hear is Charlie Brown's teacher. Once those decibels get to a certain point, all I hear is womp, womp, womp. I don't hear you anymore. And it's not a sign of disrespect, it's respect. Because I don't want to disrespect you because I talk for a living.
Right.
So I know how to talk. I know I go for jugular veins. I can say stuff to mess with you, but I don't talk to nobody I love like that.
Right.
I don't talk to nobody in the house like that, that I'm cool, that I'm supposed to be loving, because you can't take words back, man. When you see women, sometimes y'all say stuff and men, I hold grudges.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah. And I know how to hold silent grudges.
Yes, sir.
That you'll never know that you pierced me. But in the back of my mind, but if I could just rewind for a minute, those two strong-willed people, this is my opinion. I think even in those moments where the passion of heat and anger may be there, I think there are always avenues, doors, windows, and opportunities that are presented to us, even in the midst of those heated moments, where one of us can step outside of that environment for a moment to de-escalate everything. Absolutely. And a lot of times we just don't want to de-escalate, so we just keep on going. And like you said, until with me, I'm like, you know what, it's not even worth it. I just rather let me just, like you said, I'm gonna fall on the sword, give me a band-aid, put it over this little cut, and wake up the next morning. Absolutely. And go about my business
and kiss you and say, "Baby, I love you," and keep it right on moving. But this is the thing right here, man. This is the thing right here. I read an article. This is long back, 2008. It's called "The Art of Fighting Fair," and one of the one of the points in the article said one of the arts of fighting fair was give yourself 5 minutes. Boxers. We watched the fight a couple of weeks ago with Errol Spence and what's his name, Terrence Crawford. In that fight, if you ever notice, they'll fight for 3 minutes, and then they'll take a break.
Rest for one. Yep.
They'll fight and they'll take a break. If you find yourself in a fight with your mate, take 5 minutes. Back up. Reset. And some of the stuff that you were about to say, if you say it with a different decibel, if you say it not in an angry manner, if you say it just, hey, I was thinking about that. And you could take the same wine and put it in a different wine skin.
Yes, sir.
And it's packaged a little different,
right,
and it's a lot more effective.
Right.
And that's the thing. Because let me show you this, Avery. This is why I'm concerned. This is why I'm concerned right here. I want y'all to see this. This is why I'm concerned. Because of stuff like this. Y'all see that? It says nearly 2/3 of non-felony related homicides involve arguments between the black female victim and male offender. Nearly 2/3 of non-felony related homicides involved arguments between the black female victim and male offender. Look at this statistic right here, Avery. 92% of the deaths of black females killed by males were not related to any other felonies such as robbery or rape. So what this says is a lot of these crimes were done in the heat of passion.
Yeah.
And somebody clicked because somebody got real reckless with their mouths, or somebody got real upset, and they clicked, and now all of a sudden, because of something that could have been de-escalated,
right,
we could have just went to bed.
And yes, sir.
We could have just went to bed, even if we had to sleep in I'm not sleeping in a separate room.
Yeah,
I'm not sleeping in a separate room. But if yes, sir, Calvin Spring, that's a deep stat, bro. Look at this. I mean, hold on. I ain't even show y'all all of them. I just showed y'all a few of them. Hold on. Let me just show you a couple of more, please, because this is alarming. Look at this. In 2020, black females were murdered by males at a rate nearly 3 times as high as white females. That's a lot. Look at this. Of black females who knew their killers, 56% were wives, common law wives, ex-wives, or girlfriends of the offenders. These dudes ain't stable. 90% of black females murdered by males in single offender incidents knew their killer. These are real issues, but this one right here got me. I'm telling you, this 92%. Where is it? I passed it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, 92%. Is that right there? Here it is. 92% of the deaths of black females killed by males were not related to any other felony. This was a normal dude who went to work every freaking day or whatever, but we didn't know, but he hadn't been pushed. Right. And pressure busts some pipes. Some pipes can handle pressure. Right. But some pipes aren't meant that those pipes, when you apply so much pressure, and I'm gonna tell you, ain't nothing more emasculating than somebody talking to you, man, and especially somebody you're supposed to love. Right. Somebody you're supposed to be in a relationship with. Somebody that you sleeping with, whatever. I don't know how you can become so reckless that all of a sudden you dislike this person that much, where you're putting those kind of words on them, and now y'all are into it, and he's grabbing you by your throat, and you're slapping him, and you got to grab a knife, and then all of a sudden somebody got to get a gun. And sister, I know you tougher now. You go to the gun range, and you can put one right through the target. I know, but you ain't never had a target running at you. Right. You ain't never had a target trying to grab you by your throat. Right. You ain't never had that happen, somebody that you're supposed to love, because guess what? Bullets don't give you do-overs. Not at all. You don't get a second chance. So my question is, are we teaching our daughters to de-escalate? Have you learned how to de-escalate? Right. And go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I want to say this too, because we're definitely not excusing or condoning the behaviors of any man. Let's be definitely clear about that. But I could just sense, even from the data and all that stuff, and abuse, and any kind of abuse is crazy. And if there's some continued abuse and all of that, now I can understand. But a lot of times, like you said, man, I think a lot of times in these instances, there's that moment, that click,
Yeah.
where that you pushed me to the point where my reaction is greater than my sense of making a sound decision.
Yeah.
And so now here I am at a point where I've made a decision, made a reaction, and made some decisions that um, ends up in a violent mode. And like you said, you can't take it back, because the first time that happened, man, it's over. It's over. So again, we're not condoning any behavior of a man. Men should not put their hands on a woman.
Never.
It's unnatural. You're to love,
Never
you're to
accept
protect, you're to care for, you're to love on her. But again, we have to be at a place where we can teach one another. Hey, this is the kind of behavior that is not acceptable. Don't call that man no such and such in front of his friends.
No.
Don't do that kind of stuff. And,
Don't
and here
embarrass
it
him in public.
Here it is. And see, sometimes, James, sometimes they know they can do that stuff because they saw mama and grandmama do it.
Wow.
And granddaddy just sat there and didn't say anything.
Yep.
Listen, he didn't say anything until we got outside and I was working with him in the garden. And then he started telling me some stuff. And then it was then that I knew that my big daddy had some common sense. But he was smart enough to know not to put his hand on Big Mama, even when Big Mama was wrong.
Absolutely. And you know what? And it's not because you're afraid of the hot grits that might come from behind it. Because I know Grandmama would throw some hot. Y'all answer that question for me, please. That question on the screen. Is it more important to get your point across or to keep the peace? And if it's more important to get your point across, tell me why. If it's more important to keep the peace, tell me why. If you don't feel like typing it and you want to come on the screen, Calvin, Lakeisha, whoever else, Jasmine, Mikhail, anybody. If you want to come on, feel free to come on. The link is in the chat right there. Feel free to come on and tell me. But why I want to know, Lakeisha says she definitely want to keep the peace, but it's hard to do it when you have two strong-willed people talking. So somebody got to stop talking in that instance, right? Because at this point, at the end of the day, communication is all about having effective communication.
Right.
And if two people are talking, does not mean that we're communicating. Right? Because Avery and I can sit here and talk at each other. I joked a minute ago about cutting them off. But if we sat here all night and cut each other off, how effective would our communication be?
Right.
It wouldn't be very effective at all, would it?
Right.
So, so even in relationships, when it talks about, and we talk about relationships a lot. And I wonder sometimes I think when we talk about relationships, we're talking about them as boyfriend and girlfriend like their marriages.
Hey, and see that might that's.
And I think
that's another part. That's another part.
That's the problem a lot.
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're right, because we've stepped into areas of ownership, and you don't own anything.
No. No. What I'm not going to get that mad at you right now because you ain't my wife. No way.
Right.
I don't care.
Right.
Let me say this. I don't want to. I'm a whisper it out loud. I ain't gonna say it too loud. But Avery, I don't care that much. We're not at that point.
Right.
We that.
And
Wilfred, thank you, bro.
Right.
Hold on. Let me see what Wilfred. Let me put it on the screen. Wilfred says, "I keep the peace at all costs." Bro.
Yeah, that's
yes,
my cousin
Lord.
there,
Let's keep the peace.
Yeah, that's my.
Which say, Calvin says it's easy to keep the peace because sometimes it's not worth the fight. You have to keep the peace. I'm going to bed tonight.
Right.
And I like. Right. Let me tell you, I like those sheets. I like that. I like that mattress pad. All that feels good. I don't care how Lakeisha, whoever. If you my wife and we mad at each other, we still going to bed. Turn your butt the other way. Yep. I turn mine the other way, but we sleeping in the same bed. So,
and I'm still gonna put my feet on your leg.
and I'm gonna reach back across you
Right.
like this, you know,
Right.
and
Yes,
because you know
sir.
these anointed hands have to stay warm at night. So, so I'm gonna find somewhere. But is it more important to keep your peace? Because this is the thing right here. Like, and I've had some women that come in the inbox, and I appreciate all my sisters in Stu Nation because man, they're transparent, bro. They're so transparent.
Mm.
And some of them will tell me, man, I have been known to be reckless with this mouth, and I
Right.
got to do something about that. You know,
Right.
and I get it. You know,
Right.
you push somebody against the wall, you know, and they have to survive because most of us we operate from struggle, right? I mean,
Right.
we you know we most if you live check to check, you're having to raise 2-3 children by yourself. You know, your punches almost have to be calculated. You know, you don't
Right.
have time to make
Right.
mistakes, right?
Right.
So I
Right.
had a girl tell me, I don't have time to go out on dates. Either we were moving towards marriage or we not. I said, so you want to go from 1 to 7? What you mean? I said, we just gonna skip 2 through 6, and I don't even know if I
Right.
like you enough to want to be trying to go out with you and talk about trying to treat you like a potential wife. I ain't, you know, but I get it, and you just might not be the one for me, and
Right.
I get
Right.
that. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what it. Oh yeah, Wilford Jones. Thank you, Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones said, hold on, hold on. Is this going up? Okay. He said in 28 years,
Yeah.
we've never slept in separate beds. Oh, what is this tripping? Well, we've never slept in separate beds. He said, just not happening.
Yeah.
I get it. How
Yeah.
about you, Avery? Y'all slept in some separate beds? No, never mind. You
No.
ain't got to tell your business. You ain't got to tell your business.
No. Oh
Don't tell
no.
your
We don't do
business.
that. We don't do
Okay.
that. No,
I
sir.
got you. I get it. So, and like you said, your son saw how you handled their mother.
Right.
So that's going to be probably how they handle their.
Right.
Okay. What happens if you find out one of your sons did mess around and put his hands on a girl?
Man, I'm probably gonna do like you did. Like you said, if somebody put their hand on one of your daughters, it doesn't matter if she's not connected with me. You're not gonna do that. You're not,
Yeah.
and I don't look, and I don't care. I may not be physically as strong as you are now, but I got something that I can pick up that'll knock some sense into you. Because
Would you hit him
that's
with
just
it?
not going. Oh,
Did you freeze or you just making that face?
no, I'm making that face. I'm making that face. Oh yes, I will.
He froze
I
up.
would.
Did he freeze?
I
Would
would.
you put it on him there?
I put it on him.
Yeah.
I put it on
Yeah.
him.
And
Man,
and, and that's
I've
I,
had. Go ahead. Go
no,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was
No,
gonna say
no,
I've
go ahead. I'm
had
with you.
instances. I've had instances with I ain't gonna say which one, but I've had instances where one of my sons did something wrong. It was like super duper wrong, and we marched right to the place where the wrong occurred, and we corrected it. So we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that.
Okay. Since we got men listening tonight, I like that. I got Wilford and I got Calvin, and they're responding. So I like that. I got Avery, so we got men responding. So one of your homeboys, right? Because most time we ain't gonna know our homeboys are chin checking their wife. You know, we're not gonna know about that. You know what I mean? Because they do that usually behind closed doors, right? You're
Right.
not gonna find typically any behavior that points to them being one that is a abuser of that. But if you found out one of your better friends was being abusive towards his wife, Wilford, Calvin, Avery, how would you handle that? And before you answer, I had an instance
Right.
where I had an apartment, and my next door neighbor, I heard him and his girlfriend arguing, and they got to using the B word and they arguing. I turned down the TV. I'm trying to record it with the phone. I'm doing. I know I paid the bill, but I don't know why it's tripped. Are you there?
Yeah. Yeah. We're
I'm
good.
sorry about that. I apologize. Yeah, but I heard them arguing, right? and this technology, I mean, I don't know, this Wi-Fi is tripping, but I promise I paid the bill. But they were arguing back and forth, right? And I'm just struggling because do I go next door? Do I knock on the door and say, are y'all okay? Do I call the police? I didn't know what to do at that point.
Right.
But it would have devastated me if all of a sudden I heard a gunshot.
Right.
Or if I heard anything, or him hitting her or whatever, you know what I'm saying? That would have devastated me.
Right.
And so my question is, if y'all see something like that happen, how do y'all handle it? Go ahead and answer yours. I want to read Wilford's. You go ahead and answer, Avery.
Well,
read what Wilford said.
Early in our marriage, probably the seventh to eighth year.
My internet is tripping tonight. I don't know why. I don't know if it's me or if it's Avery, but one of us has a problem. I'll get him in here in a second. Let's see.
Can you hear
what is going on? But we're gonna make it through it. Wilford Jones says that was going to be my next point. Fathers have to show the kids how to de-escalate in a heated moment, but we as fathers show the opposite. Then that's why they will do that's what they would do also. Can't be do as I saw and not do as I do, or not do as I say and do as I do. That's a good point. Good point. I'm sorry, Avery. You there now?
No, you're good. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I'm not good because this Wi-Fi is tripping.
Hey,
but go ahead.
We good. No, I was saying, about the 7th or 8th year in our marriage, me and my wife were in the same situation as you. Our next, of course, I didn't know the guy, but our next door neighbors, man, we were in a townhome duplex. Man, we would hear him pulling her down the stairs. She's screaming and all this stuff, and man, just one day I just went over and knocked on the door and like, man, what's going on? And little old skinny joker too, and I just kind of gave him that look like, something gonna have to happen. You do this again. But I would definitely get involved. Now, if it was one of my homeboys, I put it to you like this, James. Let's just say it was you, and I found out. I would say, James, this has come to my attention, and this is the last time I won't even hear or even see it, because the next time, I promise you, I don't know what I'm going to do, but it'll be the last time you touch it.
Gotcha. I'm gonna give you. I had a young man used to come. When I live in I've been in these apartments. Everybody, now that I'm in my early 50s, late 40s, they like to call me Unc. They like to call me Unc. I became Unc, y'all. So I got one little nephew, as I call him. He'll come by. A nephew about 6'3", 6'4", probably about 275, right? And he'll come by the house every day. Just want to chop it up, want to talk. And he's upset about his girlfriend. Every day he's complaining about his girlfriend. Or they got a baby together and they're going through the stressors of life. And he's upset about his girlfriend every day. And I listen and I cuss him out, tell him, you weak. You better learn how to take it. She's a woman. She just had your baby. She might be going through postpartum. You need to learn how to support her. I'm going off on him the whole time. I'm not giving him any stretch. I'm just trying my best to help him out, right? But Calvin, man, one day he came in. He said, "Man, I was in there today, man. She put her hands on me, man, and I had to go ahead and get to go ahead and punch her." I said, "You did what?" I had to go ahead and before he could get it out, I teed off and punched him dead in his chest. I mean, this is a big dude, bro. He would tell me when he was in jail, they would pay him for protection. You know what I'm saying? To protect me. This dude. Man, he would probably demolish me if we got into it. But I stole on him. Bam! No, big bro, why you hit me like that? I said, I'm gonna hit you again. You put your hands on that woman. Who the heck do you think? Bam! And I hit him again. And he's backing up like, whoa, bro, why you doing me like that? You don't ever put your hands on a woman. And I'm going off on her. If I don't care what happens, if she hits you, you get some separation. You go outside. You don't let your child see you putting your hands on his mother, and you don't let him see him putting her hands on you. Get off her. I was going off. I mean, going off on it. And that's what I think we need to happen. Calvin said he had a homie like that. He said, "We are not good anymore. It escalated into a fight. Get off my couch. Get down." My dog jump on the couch. Like, I don't know why it does. She does that
every time you have a show.
On the show, don't get on the pod. Don't get up on the couch all week long.
Man, she want to be on here. Trying to get on the show too.
Yeah. But no. But Calvin said they got into a fight and the cops were called. you know, and long story, that happened back in the day. So we got to protect us. But sisters, don't put us in a position where we have to protect you and then one of us get killed.
Right. Yeah.
I had a woman that we were talking about possibly, this was a couple of years ago, you know, we were talking about expectations in dating. And she said something about, you know, I want to know if he can fight. I said, for what? Well, if we get out, I want to make, and something happen, I want to make sure he can handle himself. Where we going to be at that we got to fight? And we 50 plus years old. You know what I'm saying? Ruth's Chris. I mean, Papa Do's. I mean, where we going to be at? I mean, where we going to be at when we got to fight? You know? But so my point is, sisters, don't put your man in a position where he has to fight. And if you do see me fighting, you get away.
Right.
Go get help. Go dial 911. Okay. Don't help me fight. I need your face to be pretty when I get home tonight. Because I mean, if I gotta rest my head in somebody's lap, I don't want you to be knotted up like I'm knotted up. You know what I'm saying? But don't put me in no position where I have to fight. But no, real talk though. We have to teach our children, Brother Jones. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you. But we have to teach our children how to de-escalate before things escalate. It's so hard. I mean, do you think it's easier to stop a car going 75 miles per hour or a car going 10 miles per hour?
Man, 10 all day long.
Yeah.
All day long. And then too, you know, I guess one of the things too, man, we have to consider, man, we're in a totally different era now, Jane. Man, like you said, man, we could have been at Old Main, you know, throwing hands, and we back at lunch. You know, these days, man, they pulling out guns. They don't know how to even communicate to a point of de-escalation. They just ready to shoot, kill, stab, and all this stuff. So we're at a whole different place.
Let's listen. Wilfred said, my son learned this type of behavior through his stepdad and came at my wife one day. He said, I couldn't get home fast enough, and I had him up against the wall telling him that she's my wife and never touch women like that again. It's a learned behavior. And I'm going to tell you, Wilfred, I'm glad you said that, because I remember when my son was he was young, 3 years old. And I don't know what got in the tray that day. And he was talking crazy to his mom, talking about what he wasn't going to do. And this is 3-4 years old. And she's called me on the phone. She said, do you hear this? This is how he's talking to me. And bro, I came home and he saw me dead. He heard I was in the house. Dad, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I won't do it again. And I said, no, you a man. So I went upstairs and I got in that, but you know what I'm saying? And then later on in life, I remember one time she was trying to discipline him. And she was trying to jack him up against the wall. It was one of those mornings that I realized that he wasn't a morning person. She jacked, and I saw her jacking him up against the wall. And I said, don't do that no more. She said, why? I said, let me do that. I need you to be his hiding place. Let me be the one that he gets angry with, you know, because a son can hate and love his father out of the same mind, right?
Right.
But a mom, at a certain point, he'll end up resenting. I can speak from experience because I've been there. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, and you don't want, like you said, if you keep doing it to him and beating him down now, he'll take it out on everybody that looks like you in the future.
Yes, sir.
And that's what I don't want to happen. I don't want him to end up taking it out on you, and then you don't get a second chance because of you don't get a second chance because of statistics like these right here that we just showed y'all. Like we just said right here, 92% of the deaths of black females killed by males were not related to any other felony. Like this statistic that said nearly 2/3 of non-felony related homicides involved arguments between the black female victim and the male offender. 67% of those were shot. So that was a crime of passion. That's something that happened in the moment.
Right.
That if one person would have just took enough time to de-escalate, just to say, hey, you know what? You might be right. You know what? You know, at this moment, you know what? I love you too much for this to go any farther. So the best thing for us to do at this moment, because it looks like this conversation is going the wrong way. I mean, one time I had you know, sometimes I will talk a little flip to people sometimes, and I was about to do business with somebody, and I had talked a little flip, and he said, "Oh, okay, I see where this is going." He said, so I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let you get your shirts, and then we're not gonna do business no more. I said, oh no, it ain't like that. He said, no, because I don't want. If you talk to me like that, it can get like that. And it made me check myself. I looked in the mirror and said, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't have said anything like that. You know what I'm saying? And so I think, ladies, if men as well, if we just think before we speak. I'm training some salespeople right now, and I'm training them to really learn how to put your thoughts in front of your mouth. You know, if you can put your thoughts in front of your mouth, then you're thinking before you talk. And if you can think before you talk, then now we're going to do something real powerful now. We're going to get the thought and we're going to flip it 3 or 4 different ways. We're going to look at that thought and we're going to consider 3 or 4 outcomes of that thought. Because if I consider the outcomes of that thought, then I'm going to say, oh, no, this can go the wrong way. It might not be important to say it at this particular moment.
And James, to your point, and if we could make sure we take the emotions out of it, man, that's the key. You know, taking the emotions out. You know, you talking about thinking before you talk, but make sure the emotions are divorced from those thoughts too, because 90% of the emotions is what's going to fuel, you know, what you're saying. So if you could just take that out,
women are emotional. Women are typically emotional beings, and we love you for that. We love you for that. But you know that emotion is equivalent to a river, right? And rivers flow. But when you want to control water, you create tributaries. You create tributaries. The tributaries make streams. Streams don't flow and rage like rivers. So if we can figure out how to channel that raging sister that's like a river. See, that Arkansas River has killed a whole lot of people because it rages not just on top, but it rages down below, right? It's got undercurrents and stuff. That's what gets you.
Yes, sir.
And see, it's sometimes, sister, with that mouth, sometimes it's not the rage, it's that undercurrent. It's the stuff I'm thinking about that when you went for the jugular vein, or you went for the, I don't want to say, when you went for the nuts, when you straight up went for the nuts and you tried to emasculate me, when you tried to kill me, man, that's when that's when you missed it, right?
And then it also has, if I'm not careful and if I don't catch myself, it changes the way I view you from that point on.
It does.
It makes it hard for me to look at you in a certain light. So just make sure, like you said, man, you don't do me like that. Don't do me like that.
Don't do me like that. And sometimes, I ain't gonna lie, it's so hard for me to come back. It really is. I mean, once I feel like you've emasculated me, it's so hard for me to come back. And it used to me lying. I mean, and I really, 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 really have to have something invested. I had a friend recently, I ain't gonna lie, that said something that kind of turned me off, and I had to take a break. You know, I backed up for a minute. You know, and finally it was her reaching out to me saying, you know what, I realized I said something wrong, and I realized the consequences of that. But when you feel like you're ready to communicate it with me again, I'm here, and we're still friends. I said, okay. Now I could deal with that. You know what I'm saying? That was some people say women don't apologize. Yes, they do. Some of them do apologize. So
just imagine if we could use that same emotional intelligence in every situation like that, where we're able to, you know, stop for a moment, think about what we've done, think about what we've said, let it process. And then just come back and realize, hey, you know, after I've removed again the emotions from it and thought about what I said, hey, I'm wrong. And we can come to a place of understanding, and we can get right back on the same path of friendship, restoration, and all that stuff.
I mean, and I'm cool with that. I mean, everybody, listen, everybody like a comeback story. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna lie, every man I know, y'all can raise your hand if you want to. Every man I know like to make up.
Man,
you know what I'm saying? We love to make up. So if we can get to that making up thing, then I want to get there as soon as I can. Am I lying? Do you like to make up?
Yes, sir. Clean up what I messed up.
Yeah, I
mean, all over again.
Dude, I want to say, boom. I love to make up. I love to make up bomb on me. Hey, baby, no, I'm just playing. So Avery, Wilfred said, I love to make up to. He said, I do. So let's get to it. But don't bury me so far where it makes it hard.
Right. Exactly.
I got to do something. You know,
right.
Come up when you come at me. I can't fight you physically, right? But I can silence you out for a couple of days. I gotta fight some kind of way, right? You know what I'm saying? I hate to say it, but I gotta fight some kind of way. So then you go come back the next couple of days. I'll say, you still mad? Yes.
Right. Yep.
Yes,
Sure am.
Yeah. I sure am. But when you gonna get over it? Well, maybe in a few minutes. Let me go over here. Been a few minutes, but give me a minute. I'm not quite there yet.
Right.
Because I'm not emotional, so I'm not gonna say, you hurt my feelings when you said. I'm not gonna do that.
Right.
That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna grovel and tell you, especially when you know what you did. You know exactly what you did. And if you don't know what you did, then you're equivalent to a serial killer. You woke up and everybody was dead. Yeah. So you don't care what you say at all, and that's why I'm worried about.
Right.
So that's why. That's and honestly, that's what makes me withdraw that right hand of fellowship real fast right now, Avery. Let me tell you, Calvin, I will withdraw the right hand of they raise a voice at me just a little bit. I assume that you're not peaceful. So I'm putting.
I'm gone.
Hey, one of my homegirls.
Was that made the Lord watch?
Made the Lord watch. One of my homegirls. We was talking the other day. She said, James, I know when I said something out of turn to you. I said, why? Because you're gonna say, who you talking to?
Yeah.
I'm saying, who you talking to?
Hold up. What you say?
You talking to me? For real? Oh, wow. You thought it was okay to say that. I mean, wow. Okay, cool. But what you mean? Nothing. I'm good.
Yeah.
For real? Yeah. I'm done. But you don't realize that I have just done a benediction on that friendship. I'm done.
Right.
I have withdrawn the right hand of fellowship, put it in my pocket. And I know some women say, so what? I'm saying, so what too?
Right.
I can't miss what I never had.
Yeah.
I can't miss what I never had. And the statistics say, I'm not gonna get into those statistics. There's gonna be another option at some point.
Hey, look,
just point blank. There's gonna be another. There's a whole lot more. But never mind. I'm not gonna. I ain't trying to start no mess. But that's just the truth. I'm not. Somebody want to be peaceful.
Yeah.
Somebody don't want to fight. Somebody want to build a legacy together. And and if you swim through enough muddy water, eventually you're gonna find some clear water.
Yes, sir.
And you know what? I was in swimming lessons when I was about 7 years old. I can backstroke, breaststroke, I can swim underwater.
Doggy paddle, do it all. Yes, sir.
I can do it all, bro. For real. Calvin, we were swimming at North Heights back in the North Heights back in the 80s and 90s. So we were doing 1.5 off the diving boards. I ain't got no problem swimming. So if I got to swim through some muddy water to get to some clear water, hey, so be it.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But if it seems a little bit murky, if you screaming and hollering and being unpeaceful and all that kind of stuff, non-peaceful, well, I don't know which prefix I need to use, but non-peaceful, unpeaceful, whatever. If you're being that person, then
that's it.
We can't be together. We can't be friends. We can shake hands and shoot dice and play spades or something like that. But I ain't trying to be.
Call me on the phone. Yeah, from a long distance.
I don't even like talking on the phone. I don't really like talking on the phone that much. I hear women saying stuff like they don't want to text, but I don't even like talking, but I talk. So I'm already in a bad position as it relates to trying to get in a relationship. So y'all pray for me. I might be by myself the rest of my. I don't want to get old and grow old alone. That used to be my biggest fear. Dying when I had that 1-bedroom, dying in my apartment. And then not talking to nobody for 3 or 4 days, nobody knowing about it. That used to be my biggest fear.
Wow.
But so I don't want to die and grow old alone. But I'm gonna have what I'm supposed to have.
Oh yeah.
You know why? Because he's about to blow my mind.
I
love that song.
That song, yeah.
That song all on my mind for real, bro. I've been stuck on that. I've been stuck on that song, man. And we might get cut off.
Hey, you didn't play it, did you?
I didn't play it, man.
Okay.
I didn't play it, but I sure want to though. I sure want to. Should I? But if they cut me, I don't know. They might cut me out.
Hey, we're gonna go anyway.
We're gonna go anyway.
Yeah.
Here it is, y'all. Y'all grew with me.
My name is about to be called. My name is about to be called. One more time.
He's about to blow my mind. Hey. Boy, I love that song. Boy, that song has been blowing my mind. He's about to blow my mind. I know you would kill that on that bass line, wouldn't you?
Boy, look. Might have to pull it up.
Doc,
Might have to pull it up.
And I'm studying this week. I'm studying John 11 this week. So I'm looking at when Jesus called Lazarus, bro. I'm studying that.
Okay.
And I'm looking at it from a different. I'm saying there's life beyond this death.
Yeah.
And Doc, when he said,
hey man,
it's so funny because when you look at that text, when they came and told Jesus, if they heard what he said, because as much faith as Martha had, Jesus sent back word and said, he said, this sickness is not unto death. I could have went on by my business.
Right. I'm done. Right. But see, man, you about to start something.
But you know what I heard in February of 2023? Yes, I got a phone call. Boy, I was playing. My dad, when they called me and told me that my daddy was in the hospital,
look,
I heard it say, this sickness is not unto death. I'm joking. Let me stop playing with y'all.
Man,
but yeah, Doc, that's So but at the end of it all, he called their name. He called the name, right? He said Lazarus. Yeah. And whatever was dead came back to life, right?
Right. But
I believe
you know
what? Right. Go ahead.
What was so let me go. What's so powerful about that though? That when he called them, it was so specific that when he said Lazarus, everybody that was named Lazarus probably popped up. But because the word was so specific, he said, not you, not you, not you. I need this one to come on up here.
Ain't that something? And that's the divine element. But how about the human element? He said, I'll take care of the divine aspect, but I need y'all to participate in this miracle. First of all, you remove the stone.
Right.
I need them to remove the stone.
Right.
And Lazarus, you're going to have to take off your own grave clothes.
Right. Oh, man. Okay. All right, man. Let me go. Let me go. It's a cut off. Yeah, because that's a whole song.
Oh, yeah, because some people come out but still bound. You still got the same clothes on, boy. You better learn how to
and he makes you
still looking like the remnants of death. Looking like the remnants of death. Man. But you're trying to be attractive. How you gonna be attractive?
May the Lord watch. See, man.
He's about to blow my mind. Yeah, man. So no, bro. So no, my name. I'm real on that one, bro. I feel like my name is about to be called. I mean, I got so many things I'm working on right now.
Right.
And man, the book is finished now. Yeah. The T-shirt, I'm about to release that. I got that on now, but I don't really want y'all to see it just yet. I'm just silent launch, but it's coming out real soon.
Right.
But bro, I'm telling you, bro, it's some good things happening, man. So we'll be back Monday night. Wilford Jones, we appreciate you. Calvin Springs, Lakeisha, Laurie Williams, I appreciate y'all for participating. Avery and I jumped on here kind of impromptu tonight, and we got a little participation, and I appreciate you. Wilford, keep listening, man. We're gonna be back on Monday night I will be back Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We usually come on at 9 Eastern Time, but tonight Avery and I said, you know what? We ain't doing nothing now. Let's go ahead and do it right now. So we started early, and that's what we have. I'll probably do a replay of this show at 10 o'clock, just for those that might have missed it, Avery. But it's been real. It's been real. Avery, you got any closing words?
Man, let's just learn what the scripture said. Learn how to live peaceably with one another.
You said what now?
Learn how to live peaceably with one another.
You talking about this scripture right here that says, if it be possible.
Yes, sir. You already know.
As much as lieth in you.
Man.
Live peaceably with all men. I got it right there, bro. I told you I'm learning how to use these overlays.
I know that's right. That's what's up.
Get it down. Yeah. If y'all want to support the platform, here are some ways to support. Got several different things going on, so we definitely could use your support. But we're out of here. We'll see you on Monday night. As I always say when I get ready to leave, it's on my shirt. The world is changing. My question for you is, why do you remain the same? Y'all have a good night. I appreciate you all. And I will see you all on Monday night. Y'all be peaceful. Be easy.